Okay, I'd like to call to order the March meeting of the Dutchess County IDA, Industrial Development Agency. And would you like to, Jasmine, would you like to take roll call?
Tim Dean.
Present.
Mark Doyle.
Here.
Kathy Bauer. Here. Amy Bonadero.
Here.
And Jamie Pacone.
Here.
Deidre Houston.
Okay, I'd also like to introduce to everybody Tom LeCount. Tom was approved Monday by the legislature to be our new board member. Tom still has to complete some paperwork and take his oath of office before he can become a voting member, but he's present with us today to sit in. And Tom, would you like to just introduce yourself? And
Hi, my name is Tom LeCount. I'm the business manager for the Heat and Frost Insulators. I've been the business manager for 10 years. I've lived in Dutchess County almost my entire life. I have 2 kids in Arlington schools. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm looking forward to working with you all.
great. Why don't we go around the table real quick and introduce everybody to you so that you know who we are. Why don't I start? I'm Tim Dean. I'm the retired CEO from Marshall & Stilling. I chair the board there now, and I chair this organization.
I'm Sarah Lee. I'm the executive director of the IDA, the CEO of the LDC, and as well as the CEO of Think Dutchess.
And I'm Mark Doyle. I'm vice chair of this board, but I'm general manager of Fishkill Farms in Hopewell Junction, so pick your own farm.
I'm Amy Bonadero. I'm a civil engineer at a private firm in East Fishkill.
I'm Jamie Pacone. I live in Pauling with my children, 5 of them, and I have a property management company in Dutchess County.
I'm Kathy Bauer. I am the board treasurer and secretary, and I'm with MBT Bank, and I live in LaGrange also.
And let's introduce some of the other people.
Hi, I'm Jane Danbaum. I'm CFO for the LDC and the IDA.
Ron Hicks, Assistant County Executive. I have no formal role here. I'm a visitor today.
I'm Elizabeth Capolino and counsel.
I'm Donald Capolino, counsel to
Jasmine Haley, Office Administrator for Think Dutchess.
So welcome aboard. We look forward to all the formalities being taken care of so that you can participate fully.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, I want to remind everybody of our conflict of interest policy. If there's anything that comes before us that's on the, if there's anything on the agenda today that you think might cause a conflict, could you please state so now and disclose that conflict? Okay, hearing none. If for some reason during the meeting you become aware of a conflict, please let us know and we'll recuse you from the meeting. Sarah, proof of meeting notice was posted?
Yes.
Okay. Bills and communications?
None?
Okay. Approval of minutes of the February 12th meeting. That was chaired by Mark Doyle.
Yes.
I was not here. Is there anybody that has any corrections or amendments to the minutes? So hearing none, could I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mark. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, Jasmine, would you please take the vote?
Jamie Pacone.
Approved.
Amy Bonadero.
Approved.
Kathy Bauer.
Approved.
Mark Doyle.
Approved.
Okay, report of treasurer.
Yes. Looking at the balance sheet for February 28th, 2025, cash is at 5.5 million, but included in that cash are pilot payments that have to be dispersed. You'll see below the accounts payable, 2.8 in pilot payments that I have to issue the checks. So we have really cash at 2.7. Nothing really different on the balance sheet than that. Looking at the P&L, we have revenue of 52,000 before pilot payments to a budget of 309,000. So far we're unfavorable by 257,000. As you can see, the pilot payments there are almost 2.9 million. Looking at the expenses, there's 225,000 to a budget of 740. $7,000. So right now we're favorable by $522,000. We have a net loss of $173,000 to a budgeted net loss of $438,000. So far we're favorable by $265,000. Any questions?
Okay, so we do not need to vote on anything on that, it's just a report. Reports of committees, Finance and Audit for discussion and approval of the 2024 audit.
Okay, we met last week with our accountant, Sharon Manisi, with RBC CPAs. On page 1, you'll see the independent auditors report. We got a clean opinion from our CPAs, which is the best opinion that we can get. And moving on to page 4 and 5, that is just a summary of what we're going to discuss on the next several pages. Page 6, we had at the end of 2024 cash of 2.8 million and accounts receivable of 575,000, primarily made up of Arthur May and Marabou, giving us current assets of 3.4 million. You'll see our deposit that we hold for Cricket Valley as an asset of 1.9 million, and then down below you'll see it as a liability as well. So we ended the year with 5.8 million in total assets, slightly up from 2023. Accounts payable were very low at 49,000. There's our Cricket Valley liability that we hold of 1.9 million. So we had a total net position of 3.8 million, which is a very strong net position for the agency. It's up slightly from 3.6 million from the year before. On page 7, our operating revenue of administrative fees was down from the previous year. It's at 775,000 for the year. That was primarily Harlem Valley and Marabou Beacon. Let's see, operating expenses, we have our professional service contracts, 729,000. That was an increase from 2023 of 659,000. We had approved increasing the LDC contract by 50,000. So that primarily is what that is comprised of. Administrative expenses remained pretty steady. We had an operating income of 31,000 before interest income. Interest income was 133,000, which was up significantly from 2023, which was 98,000. You can thank interest rates rising for that one. And then we had a net change in position of 164,000, which led us with a net position ending operating of $3.8 million. Then on our summaries, just wanted to mention on page 10, we have our conduit debt for 2024, which is 18,283,000, which is be on the next several pages. And then again, the footnote for the increase in the LDC contract is on page 11, and footnote 4 of 200,000 when it was previously 150,000. And we have all of our debt on the next pages from pages 12 to 22. And then on page 25, there was no control findings and no compliance findings. We had a very strong year, and I want to thank Jane for her continued work and effort year over year with no errors. Her attention to detail is something beyond what I can comprehend because I have no patience. We did receive a recommendation from the auditors to enact a cybersecurity policy, but that was just a recommendation.
I would also like to thank Jane. It's very impressive when an organization has no correcting journal entries or deficiencies. And so we thank you for being such a careful steward of our funds.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about the audit? Okay, hearing none, what I would like to ask for is would somebody be willing to make a motion for approval of the audit?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Jamie. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, Jasmine, if you could please take a vote.
James McCone,
Approve.
Amy Bondieri.
Approve.
Kathy Bauer.
Approved.
Mark Doyle.
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Thank you, Kathy and the audit committee.
You're welcome.
Okay, any unfinished business, Sarah?
No.
Okay, new business. First thing on our agenda is consideration and approval of a resolution consenting a change to the ownership structure of East Avenue. So would you like to kick that off, Sarah?
Sure, yes, and we have John Hedinger from Eastdale on the Zoom joining us. This request is a joint request between Eastdale and Alex Marvegius. I apologize if I pronounce his last name incorrectly, but he is the owner of Eastdale Bagels at Eastdale. Currently, he leases his space at Eastdale, and the building that he's located in is solely owned by MHTC. And that building, that LLC is 3135 Eastdale Avenue LLC. Alex has been doing tremendously well at his location at Eastdale, and now he would like to join in the ownership and membership of that building. So this is a request to approve Alex to be the majority owner of 3135 Eastdale LLC. So, John, I don't know if you want to add anything?
No, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me in. Welcome, Tom, and always great to see Ron Hicks. Sarah had really captured it. Alex has come in. He was one of the first businesses to come into Eastdale as a tenant. Alex's family had owned and operated Athena Euro in LaGrange for a long time, and Eastdale Avenue Bagels was a new business and a new venture that came into Eastdale again as a tenant. He has largely exceeded his expectations in terms of operational success at Eastdale, and as a means of further entrenching him and his business in Dutchess County and in Eastdale. As with some of our other tenants at Eastdale Village, he'd like to also participate as an owner of his own building, which we fully support. And for the avoidance of doubt, this would be Alex just stepping into a majority ownership position in an entity which already exists, with benefits that have already been conferred. So there would be no new benefits pursuant to this transaction. It would really be an approval of Alex taking over a majority share of the ultimate ownership of 31 to 35 Eastdale Avenue.
All right, so Sarah, there's no public hearing required for this type of,
No.
okay.
So, no public hearing is required for this transaction, and there's no change in benefits that was granted, so.
There's, just to be clear, there's language in our standard lease agreement that just says anytime the entity that we're in the agreement with changes 49% or more of its ownership, they just need our written consent. So this is to be able to consent to that.
Right, and I mean, it's not an uncommon ownership structure at Eastdale where the operator of the business has an ownership in the building itself and the tenancy above it. So, does Mark?
I just have a question. So the diagram that you provided us with shows that that will be immediately a 99% ownership. Is that right? Or is it, because typically you've had a sort of a graduated percentage ownership over time, not right?
You're correct that it is 99-1. And the structures really vary depending upon what that particular proprietor has in terms of resources and their objectives for the building.
Any other questions? Okay, would somebody be willing to make a motion to approve this change in ownership structure?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Amy. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jamie. Jasmine, would you please take a vote?
James McCone,
Approve.
Amy Bondieri.
Approved.
Kathy Bauer.
Approved.
Mark Doyle.
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay, next thing up on our agenda is discussion and approval of the 2024 Paris report. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Well, he
sorry.
said thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, John. Okay. So discussion and approval of the 2024 Paris report. Sarah, I will let you handle this.
So it's that time of the year. And we have the, first up is the annual report. Basically, page one is the policies are that are required by the public authority law has been posted on our website, so you'll see all the links on that. As well as page two. For page 3 through 6 is board information. So I ask that the board kind of review your information to make sure it is accurate. Just a reminder, on the IDA side, the board serves at the pleasure of the authority. So there is no terms listed on the IDA Paris report. And then to note that we do still have Al Torgiani listed as a board member because he was a board, this is a report of 2024, so he was still a board member in 2024, so his information is still listed there. Moving on is the financials on page, well, real quick is on page 8, it just asks if the board and the staff receives any benefits, and that is none. This is a voluntary board, so there's all the answers is no. The IDA has no subsidiaries, so that answer is no. And then on page 10 through 12 is basically the financials that we just reviewed through our audit. Page 13 is just a question of whether we have conduit debt, and the answer to that is yes. We do have some old bonds that still reside on the IDA side, but we have not issued any new bonds. So for that, page 15, we do not own any real property. Page 16 is the personal property. We do not own any personal property either. And then we also have property reports on our website that state that. So page 18 through 81, 18 through 79 are our project reports. So those will show how much benefit was given to the organization. So you'll see if a project is paying pilot payments, you'll see the amount of pilot payment that was made. If the project has sales tax or mortgage, what was sales tax and mortgage that was given, as well as their employee report. So the new projects that were added is we had some Eastdale projects added. We had Mirbeau and Two Cross. Harlem Valley. Harlem Valley and Mirbeau added this year. I would also like to state that the information in Paris, while is reflected in our audit, is not always exactly matches our audit because of reporting restrictions in Paris. Paris will close certain fields so that we can't update them. So
Is that what applies to project status?
So project status is when we close a project out. So, I want to note, we didn't close out EFG Sabre and turned it to ECA because there was that assignment. And so the employment numbers are updated to just reflect what ECA took over. EFG, that was just a sales tax deal, and that's.
Refer to it as a
Oh.
project that people might. be
Okay,
able to-
yeah, all right. So, yeah, we refer to it as ECA, but anyway, so it's Hudson Heritage. So if you remember, Hudson Heritage came to us in 2024. They assigned to ECA Boligo some portion, not the entire portion, but some portion of the commercial east of east of the name of the street, I can't remember. But it's the one that it has CVS, Chipotle, Starbucks, Jersey Mike's, that portion. The ECA did not take over the ShopRite parcel that still belonged to EFG. But the ShopRite and EFG's agreement had ended, so we closed that out. And what's remaining is ECA Boligo, and that is Hudson Heritage. So the next report we have after the annual report,
Is it the one-page investment report?
the investment report. So the investment report, you'll see my handwritten answers in because we need to upload our audited financial statements as part of it, and it won't let us do a draft without uploading it. So you will see what the answers should be once that's that.
Which we just approved.
Which we just approved, so that'll be there. The next report is our procurement report. We are required to report any purchases that are over $5,000. So you will see in that report, all our procurement in 2024. It includes Camoin, who did our reasonability studies, Capolino for their services, the LDC, our contract with the LDC, our contract with Dutchess Tourism, our contract with Hudson Valley Agribusiness, Loki Brill, who monitors our local workforce policy, RBT, our accountants, and Veritex is the name of the company that does our transcription for our public hearings.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last report is our audited financial report. Again, without having approved, we can answer it, but you'll see that, again, handwritten, my responses, the audited financial statements will be uploaded, and then it asks if a management letter had been issued. The answer is no. And then if we had the auditors look at our internal controls, which the answer is yes to that.
And then the last question, there is no response. Attach anything or allowed, okay.
Yeah, so we don't have any
Don't have it.
communications.
Okay. So should that be NA or no, or just
So
blank?
it doesn't allow, so if you, it's yes or no.
Okay.
And then if you do yes, then it'll want you to upload the letter. If you say no, it's just no.
Okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions about these reports? Do we need to vote to approve this?
Yes.
Okay. Would anybody be willing to make a motion to approve the submission of the 2024 Paris reports?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Kathy. Could I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mark. Jasmine, would you please take a vote on that?
Jamie McCone,
Approve.
Amy Bondieri.
Approved.
Kathy Bauer. Approved. Mark Doyle.
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay, cyber security breach policy.
Yes. So as Kathy mentioned during the audit presentation, that one of the recommendations by our audit company is to develop and to adopt a cybersecurity breach policy. The IDA does not collect the data that is outlined in the Internet Security and Privacy Act, Section 208. From consumers. However, it was still recommended that we do have this in place. So the policy is that if we do collect information or if we do store information that falls under the law and we are aware of a security breach, that we would follow the best practices outlined by New York state law to provide notice to those people who would have been subject to that breach.
Okay, and we need to adopt this?
Yes.
Okay. Would somebody be willing to make a motion to adopt our cybersecurity breach policy?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jamie. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mark. Jasmine, please take a vote.
James McComb,
Approve.
Amy Bondieri,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Susie.
Approved. Okay, Sarah, is there anything else that that we need to discuss on the agenda?
No, unless you want me to announce the idea or the LDC.
The LDC.
Okay, all right.
Okay, what I would like to do though is, actually, I think we'll adjourn. We can handle other things in the LDC meeting. Okay, all right, so let's adjourn this meeting.